Human health and disease, NCERT based single sentence questions. Let's start. Dash for a long time was considered as a state of body and mind where there was a balance of certain health. Health for a long time was considered as a state of body and mind where there was a balance of certain humors. Basis of good humor and bad humor hypothesis. Greeks like Hippocrates, and Indian Ayurveda system and Greek like Hippocrates is the basis for good humor and bad humor hypothesis. Scientists who disproved good humor hypothesis. William Harvey. William Harvey. According to good humor and bad humor hypothesis, persons with persons with black bile belong to hot personality and would have fevers. Discovery of blood circulation disproving good humor hypothesis by using thermometer are the efforts of William Harvey. Advanced biology states that mind influences through dash system and they influence dash to maintain good health. Advanced biology states that neural system advanced biology states that mind influences through neural system and endocrine system and the influence immune system to maintain good health. Deficiencies with which a child is born and deficiencies, defects which the child inherits from the parents from the birth are called genetic disorders. Such disorders we call genetic disorder. Health is affected by dash and dash, including food and water we take, rest and exercise we give our bodies, dash that we have or lack it is. Health is affected by infections and lifestyle, including food and water we take, rest and exercise we give our bodies, that habits that have or lack it is. Health does not simply mean absence of disease or physical fitness. True or false? True. Balanced diet, personal hygiene, and regular exercise are very important to maintain good health. Practicing yoga regularly helps to maintain physical health as well as mental health also. When the functioning of one or more organs or systems of the body is adversely affected, characterized by various signs and symptoms, we say it as disease. Diseases which are easily transmitted from one person to the another person is called diseases which are easily transferred to the one person to the another diseases called infectious diseases. Cancer is an example for non-infectious disease. Cancer is non-infectious. AIDS is an example for. AIDS is infectious disease. Disease causing organisms are called as pathogens. Dash have to adapt to life within the environment of the host. Pathogens have to adapt to their life within the environment of the host. Threat and adaptation required for a pathogen who is living, that their face low pH and digestive enzymes, low pH and digestive enzymes, this kind of threats they face when they are present in the host body. Pathogenic bacterium which causes typhoid, Salmonella typhi. Mode of transmission of typhoid bacterium. Contaminated food and water. A healthy person acquires the infection by inhaling the droplets or aerosols released by an infected person or even by sharing glasses utensils with an infected person. Identify the disease. Pneumonia. Typhoid fever could be confirmed by this test, viral test. Bacteria responsible for pneumonia, Streptococcus pneumoniae, Streptococcus pneumoniae, and Haemophilus influenza. Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenza. Haemophilus influenza. Dysentery caused by Shigella species. Diphtheria caused by Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Plague caused by Yersinia anthracis. Yersinia anthracis. Common cold caused by rhinoviruses. Malaria caused by Plasmodium species. Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovary, we call Plasmodium species. Parasite reaches generally enter the small intestine to the food and water contaminated with them and migrate to other organs through blood. Salmonella typhi, nasal congestion and discharge, sore throat, hoarseness, cough, headache, and tiredness, etc. are the symptoms of common cold. Mary Mallon is well known for spreading typhoid for several years. Symptoms of this disease usually last for 3 to 7 days if even untreated. Common cold. She was a cook by profession and was typhoid carrier who continued to spread typhoid for several years through the food she prepared. Typhoid Mary Mallon. Droplets resulting from cough or sneezes of an infected person are either inhaled directly or transmitted through contaminated objects such as pens, books, cups, doorknob, computer keyboard, etc. or mouse. Common cold. Sustained high fever, that weakness, stomach pain, sustained high fever, weakness, stomach pain, constipation, headache, and loss of appetite are some of the common symptoms of this disease. Typhoid. Disease which infects the alveoli of lungs. Pneumonia. Amoebic dysentery caused by Entamoeba histolytica. Fever, chills, cough, and headache are the symptoms for pneumonia. Intestinal perforation may lead to the death in severe cases. Typhoid. In severe cases, lips and fingernails may turn grey to bluish in color. Identify the disease. Pneumonia. They infect the nose and respiratory passages, but not the lungs. Identify the disease. Common cold. This infection results the alveoli get filled with fluid, leading to severe problems in respiration. Pneumonia. Malaria by Plasmodium vivax. Benign tertian malaria. Malaria by Plasmodium falciparum. Malignant tertian malaria. Malaria by Plasmodium ovale tertian or mild tertian malaria. Malaria by Plasmodium malarii, Parton malaria. Protozoan parasite in large intestine of human. Entamoeba histolytica. Infectious form of Plasmodium to human being. Infectious form of Plasmodium to human. In which stage parasite enters into the host? We say sporozoid, present in the salivary glands of mosquito. Transmitting agent of Plasmodium parasite, that is female Anopheles mosquito. Multiplication sites of Plasmodium in human are. Multiplication sites of Plasmodium in human are liver cells and RBC. Liver shejugani with respect to Plasmodium means multiplication in liver cells. Multiplication of merozoids in liver cells. Erythrocytic shejugani with respect to Plasmodium means multiplication of merozoids in RBC. Location of sporozoids in mosquito to reach human salivary gland. They locate in the salivary gland. Plasmodium parasite initially multiply within dash cells and then attack the dash cells, resulting in their rupture. Liver and red blood cells. When a female Anopheles mosquito bites an infected person, these stages of Plasmodium enter into mosquito to form sporozoid, gametocytes. Number of hosts required for malarial parasite to complete the life cycle. Number of hosts required for malarial parasite to complete the life cycle. 2. Host of malarial parasite which complete asexual reproduction. Human. Host of malarial parasite which it complete sexual reproduction. Female Anopheles mosquito. Vector for malarial parasite. Vector for malarial parasite. Female Anopheles mosquito. Constipation, abdominal pain, and cramps. Stools with excess mucus and blood clots are the symptoms of this disease. Amoebic dysentery. Chill, high fever recurring every 3 to 4 days is a symptom of this disease. Malaria. Internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, and blockage of the intestinal passage are the symptoms of this disease. Ascariasis. Chronic inflammation, usually lymphatic vessels of the lower limbs and the genital organs are also affected, resulting in gross deformities. Identify the disease. Elephantiasis or filariasis. Appearance of dry, scaly lesions on various parts of the body, such as skin, nails, and scalp, are the main symptoms of ringworm infection. Airborne bacterial infection. Airborne bacterial infection, pneumonia. Airborne viral infection, common cold. Fertilization and development of Plasmodium parasite occurs at fertilization and development of Plasmodium parasite occurs at intestine of mosquito. Mature infective stages like dash escape from mature infective stages like sporozoids escape from intestine and migrate to the salivary glands of the female Anopheles mosquito. Dash act as a mechanical carrier and serve to transmit the entamoeba from feces to infected person to food and food products, thereby contaminating them, that is housefly. Enterozoic helminth parasite, Ascaris. Histozoic helminth parasite, Fucareria. Maintenance of dash and dash hygiene, maintenance of public and personal hygiene, for maintenance of public and personal hygiene is very important for prevention and control of many infectious diseases. Okay, keeping the body clean, consumption of the clean drinking water, food, vegetable, fruits are the part of personal hygiene. Proper disposal of the waste and excreta, periodic cleaning and disinfection of the water, reservoirs, pools, cesspools, and tanks, observing standard practices of hygiene in public catering. It's a public hygiene, public catering. Drinking water and food contaminated by the fecal matter are the main source of this protozoan parasite infection, Entamoeba histolytica. The eggs of this parasite are excreted along with feces of infected person, which contaminate soil, water, plant, ascaris. A healthy person acquires this helminth infection through contaminated water, vegetable, fruit, ascaris. These pathogens are transmitted to a healthy person through the bite by the female Culex mosquito, Wuchereria. Common preventive measure to prevent typhoid, amoebiasis, and ascariasis. Maintenance of public and personal hygiene. In addition to the maintenance of the hygienic conditions, close contact with infected person or their belongings should be avoided for these diseases. Avoided for prevention of these diseases. Yes, diseases, pneumonia and common cold. To prevent the malaria and filariasis, we should prevent mosquitoes. For disease such as dash, malaria and filariasis that are transmitted through the insect vectors, the most important measure is to control or eliminate the vectors and their breeding places. Larvivorous fish is larvivorous fish, that is Gambusia. Okay, avoiding stagnation of the water in and around residential areas, regular cleaning of household coolers, use of mosquito nets, spraying insecticide in ditches, draining areas, and swamps are the preventive measures of these are the preventive measures to prevent insects like mosquitoes. Doors and windows should be provided with wire mesh to prevent mosquitoes. Spreading of dengue and chikungunya in many parts of India due to these mosquitoes, Aedes mosquitoes. Completely eradicated Esther year's deadly disease in India, smallpox. Polio, diphtheria, pneumonia, and tetanus, smallpox are controlled to large extent by using vaccines. Science, which is at the verge of making available newer and safe vaccine, is biotechnology. Discovery of antibiotics and various other drugs has also enabled us to effectively prevent infectious diseases. Immunity. Every day we expose to large number of dash infectious agent. However, only few of them, these exposure results in a disease. Human body is able to defend itself from most of these foreign agents. The overall ability of the host to fight the disease causing organism conferred by the immune system is called immunity. Immunity obtained at the time of birth is called. Immunity obtained at the time of birth is called innate immunity. Immunity obtained after interacting with the pathogen is called acquired immunity. When a host is exposed to antigens, which may be in the form of living or dead microbe or other protein, antibodies are produced in the host body. This type of immunity is called active immunity. When ready-made antibodies are directly given to protect the body against foreign agents, it is called passive immunity. Sometimes, due to genetic and other unknown reasons, the body attacks self cells. This results in the damage to the body called and is called autoimmune diseases. Physical, physiological, cellular, cytokine barriers are the part of innate immunity. Main barrier of the body which prevents entry of the microorganism physically, skin. Mucus coating of the epithelium lining, dash and and tracks help in trapping microbe entering our body. Mucus coating of epithelium lining, respiratory, gastrointestinal, and urinogenital. Dash in the stomach, dash in the mouth, dash from eyes, all prevent microbial growth that physiological. Acid, saliva, and tears. Proteins released from virally infected cells to protect non-infective cells are called interferons. Identify the physical barrier of innate immunity from the given. Skin, mucus coating of the respiratory system, acid in the stomach, neutrophils, mucus coating of the gastrointestinal system, tears from eyes, mucus coating of urinogenital system, interferons, and macrophages. From here, the physical barriers are skin, mucus coating of the respiratory system, whereas mucus coating of the gastrointestinal system, then mucus coating of urinogenital system are said to be part of innate immunity. Similarly, identify the physiological barriers of innate immunity. Acid in the stomach is one of them, acid in the stomach, and saliva in the mouth, which contain lysozyme enzyme, and tears from eyes are said to be physiological barriers of innate immunity. Identify the cellular barriers from the barriers of the innate immunity from the given. Let's go down. Cellular barriers. Cellular barriers are polymorphonuclear leukocytes, polymorphonuclear leukocyte is one of them, and neutrophils, and then macrophages. Next, natural killer cells. Identify the cytokine barriers from the given. Cytokine barriers. Cytokine barriers are interleukins, interferons are said to be cytokine barriers. Pathogen specific immunity is called acquired immunity. Pathogen specific immunity is called acquired immunity. Immunity characterized by memory, acquired immunity. Special type of cells which participate in primary and secondary immune responses of acquired immunity are T and B lymphocytes. When we encounter a pathogen for the first time, our low intensity response against pathogen is primary immune response. Subsequent response with the same pathogen for second time is highly effective. Why? Due to immunological memory. Anamnestic response means secondary immune response. When a person encountered with a pathogen for the first time, a response may be low intensified, but he developed dash against the pathogen. Subsequent response is powerful. That is, he developed memory cells. Cells which produce an army of protein in response to pathogens into our blood are B lymphocytes. T cells themselves do not secrete antibodies but help B cells produce them. Such T cells are called T helper cells. Army of protein produced by B cell against pathogen are called antibodies. Number of peptide chains in each antibody 4. Number of light chains in each antibody 2. Number of heavy chains in antibody 2. With respect to antibody H2L2, H2 means heavy polypeptide chain. L2 refers light polypeptide chain. Type of immunity with antibodies is called humoral immunity. Type of immunity with T lymphocytes is called cell-mediated immunity. The T cells which are mainly responsible for the cell-mediated immunity are T cytotoxic cells, TC cells we can say. Specific line of defense, innate or acquired? Acquired. Non-specific line of defense is innate. Specific line of defense, humoral or cell-mediated? Both. Antigen binding site of antibody is called. Antigen binding site of antibody is FAB, we can say. Fragment antigen binding site. Why is that? Organs cannot be taken from just any body, that because every person has their own major histocompatible complex molecules are present. What is that doctors check during organ transplantation? Major histocompatible complex molecules, MHC, which means major histocompatible complex molecule. So even we don't have this in NCERT, we should have some awareness on these particular, because these are the major hormones which participate in graft rejection. Grafts from any source, an animal, another primate, or any human being cannot be made, since the grafts would be rejected sooner or later. Why? Because every person has their own MHC molecule. Because every person has their own MHC molecule. Dash matching and dash matching. What matching? Making essential before undertaking any graft transplant. Tissue matching and blood group matching is much required over. In these cases, person need to take immunosuppressants throughout the life. Immunosuppressants he has to take throughout the life in case of organ transplantation. The cells responsible for the graft rejection are T cytotoxic cells, we can say. Type of immunity involved in the graft rejection, cell mediated immunity. The body is able to differentiate self and non-self, and the dash mediated immune response is responsible for graft rejection, cell mediated immune response. Dash immunity is slow and takes time to give its full effective response. Active immunity, anamnestic response. Injecting the microbes deliberately during immunization or infectious organism gaining access into body during natural infection induce immunity. Such immunity is called artificial active acquired immunity. Example for artificial active acquired immunity: vaccination. Example for artificial passive acquired immunity: colostrum, mother's milk. Mother's milk during initial days of lactation has many antibodies to protect the infant. Such milk is called colostrum. Different types of antibodies produced in the human body are antibodies generally called immunoglobulins. Immunoglobulins, we say them as IgG and IgM and IgD, IgA and IgE. Five types of antibodies can be expected. Type of antibodies in colostrum are IgA, a preparation of antigenic protein. The proteins of pathogen are inactivated or weakened pathogen are introduced into the body to raise immunological memory. This process is called vaccination. The principal immunization or vaccination is based on the property of memory of the immune system. The dash produced in the body against these antigens would dash the pathogenic agent during actual infection, and the antibodies produced in the body against these antigen would neutralize it. They don't kill, they do neutralize the pathogenic agent during actual infection. The dash that generate memory cell. Vaccines generate memory cells, and memory vaccines generate memory cells by either T lymphocyte or B lymphocyte, and the memory cell C lymphocyte or B lymphocyte, they recognize the pathogen quickly, and the subsequent exposure and overwhelm invaders with a massive production of antibodies. Infection injecting preformed antibodies or antitoxins in the patient is called passive immunization. Anti-venom serum contain preformed antibodies. Anti-venom serum contain preformed antibodies. Anti-tetanus serum contain preformed antibodies. Preformed antibodies. Type of immunization: you feel better for snake bite and severe cases of tetanus. That in these cases, passive immunization is better. Dash has allowed the production of antigenic polypeptides of the pathogen in bacteria or yeast. Recombinant DNA technology. Vaccines produced using this approach allow large scale production and hence greater availability for immunization, that is recombinant DNA technology. hepatitis B vaccine produced from yeast by using this technology, recombinant DNA technology. Sneezing or wheezing in new places for no explained reason. Some are sensitive against some particle. Above mentioned reactions could be because of this feature. That is allergy to pollen or mites. Exaggerated response of the immune system to certain antigens present in the environment is called. Exaggerated immune response is called allergy. Substances to which we show exaggerated immune response are called allergens. Type of antibodies responsible for the exaggerated immune response, IgE antibodies. Common example for allergens are mites in dust, pollen, animal dander, pollen grains likewise. Symptoms of allergic reactions are sneezing will come, watery eyes and running nose, difficulty in breathing. Allergy is due to the release of chemicals like histamine and serotonin. Histamine and serotonin. Cells of blood and cells of connective tissue, which are responsible for the release of chemical substances which may lead to the allergy, that is basophils and mast cells. For determining the cause of allergy, the patient is exposed to or injected with very small doses of possible allergens and the reaction studied over. The use of drugs like dash and dash, antihistamine and adrenaline, steroids quickly reduce the symptoms of allergy. Modern day lifestyle has resulted in lowering of immunity and more sensitivity to allergens. Children in metro cities of India suffer from allergies. Suffer from allergies due to sensitivity to the environment. Allergies like asthma. Why sensitivity to allergies is more in metro cities than urban? That protected environment provided in early life. To the city people, the protected environment which is provided them. Memory based dash immunity involved in higher vertebrate based on the ability to differentiate foreign organism from self and non-self, that is acquired. Still, we do not understand the basis of higher vertebrate, how they differentiate self and non-self substances. True. Higher vertebrates can distinguish dash molecules. Higher vertebrates can distinguish foreign molecules as well as foreign in organisms. Sometimes due to genetic and other unknown reasons, the body attacks cell. This results in damage to the body and such disease is called autoimmune disease. Rheumatoid arthritis, which affects many people in our society, is an example for autoimmune disease. The human dash system consists of lymphoid organs, tissues. Immune system consists of the immune system, unique in the sense that it recognizes the foreign antigen, responds to though these, remembers them. The dash system, immune system, also plays an important role in allergic reaction, autoimmune diseases, and organ transplantation. The dash organs, lymphoid organs, origin or maturation and proliferation of lymphocytes occur. Bone marrow and thymus are primary lymphoid organs. Spleen, lymph node, tonsil, Peyer's patches, appendix are secondary lymphoid organs. Peyer's patches are located here, small intestine. They get located in the small intestine. Lymphoid organ provides sites for interaction of lymphocytes with antigen, which then proliferate to become effector cell. That primary lymphoid organs provide the sites for interaction of the lymphocyte with the antigen, and then proliferates to become effector cells. Wait, here it is. This is secondary lymphoid organs. Dash lymphoid organs, where immature lymphocyte differentiate into antigen sensitive primary lymphoid organ. Main lymphoid organ, where all blood cells, including the lymphocytes, are produced. Bone marrow. Lobes of lymphoid organ located near the heart, thymus. Lobe lymphoid organ located beneath the breastbone, thymus. Lymphoid organ which provide microenvironment for the development and maturation of the T lymphocyte. Lymphoid organ which provide microenvironment for the development of maturation of T lymphocyte. Bone marrow and thymus. Lymphoid organ which is quite large at the time of birth but keeps reducing in size with age, and by the time puberty is attained, it reduces to very small size. That is thymus. Large bean-shaped lymphoid organ. Spleen. Small solid structure located at different points along the lymphatic system are lymph nodes. Lymphoid organ which mainly contain lymphocytes and phagocytes. Spleen. Dash severe to trap the microorganism or other antigen which happens to get into the lymph and tissue plate. That is lymph nodes. Lymphoid organ which acts as a filter of the blood by trapping blood-borne microorganisms. Spleen. Antigens trap. Here are responsible for the activation of lymphocytes present there and cause the immune response at lymph nodes. Lymphoid organ which is also considered as a large reservoir of erythrocytes. Spleen. Lymphoid tissue which contributes about 50% of the lymphoid tissue in human body. Mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. We call it as MALT. Mucosa associated lymphoid tissue called as MALT. Lymphoid tissue located in major tracts like respiratory, digestive, and urinogenital tract is called MALT, mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. Mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. 8. Expand. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Malt, expand, mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. Syndrome means group of diseases. AIDS is a congenital disease. True or false? False. Deficiency of immune system acquired during the lifetime of an individual, indicating that it is not a congenital disease. AIDS was first reported in 1981, and in the last 25 years or so, it was spread to all over the world, killing more than 1 million persons. More than 1 million persons. AIDS is caused by the dash virus, HIV virus, human immunodeficiency virus, we can say. AIDS is caused by HIV virus. Virus, a member of group of viruses called retroviruses, and which have an envelope enclosing the RNA of the genome. Transmission of HIV infection generally occurs by transmission of HIV generally occurs by sexual contact with the infected person or by transmission of contaminated blood and blood cells, blood products, by sharing infected, let's fill two boxes, blood and blood products, by sharing an infected needles. Next, the from infected mother to her child through placenta. Individuals who have multiple sex partners, drug addicts who take drug intravenously, individuals who require blood transfusion, children born to an infected mother. Above mentioned people are having high risk of getting this infection. That is HIV. We call it as AIDS. Do you know when do people need repeated blood transfusion? Repeated blood transfusion required in the cases like surgery, severe infection, liver diseases, and anemia cases, and kidney diseases, cancer. In all these cases, blood transfusion required. HIV or AIDS is not spread by mere touch or physical contact. True or false? True. HIV AIDS spread through only body fluids. True. HIV infected person are need to be isolated from the family and society. False. There is always a time lag between the infection and appearance of AIDS symptom. True. That time period between the infection and appearance of the symptom vary from few months to many years. Few months to many years. That is 5 to 10 years generally. HIV virus. After getting into the body of the person, the virus enters into macrophages, where RNA genome of the virus replicate to form viral DNA, with the help of an enzyme called reverse transcriptase. Viral dash incorporated into host cells. Viral DNA incorporated into host cells DNA, host cell DNA, and directs the infected cells to produce viral RNA particles. The dash of human continue to produce virus, and in this way they act like HIV factory, that is macrophages. Along with macrophages, HIV virus also enters into these immune cells, replicates and produce progeny viruses. That is, they enter into the T helper cells. The progeny viruses produced by HIV viral DNA released into the blood attack other helper T lymphocytes. This is repeated, leading to a progressive decrease in the number of that helper T lymphocytes in the body of infected person. Primary symptoms due to the decrease of macrophages and T helper lymphocytes in infected person are bouts of fever. Bouts of fever will come, and diarrhea. Diarrhea will come, and that sudden weight loss, 10% weight loss we can see. Due to decrease in the number of helper T lymphocytes, the person starts suffering from infections that could have been otherwise overcome, such as those due to bacteria, especially mycobacterium, bacteria like mycobacterium, and viruses like toxoplasma. Fungi, and even parasites like especially mycobacterium, viruses, fungi, and even parasites like toxoplasma. The patient becomes so immunodeficient that she is unable to protect himself or herself against various infections. In HIV due to the destruction of these cells, due to the destruction of macrophages and T lymphocytes. A widely used diagnostic test for AIDS is ELISA, enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. ELISA, which means enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. Treatment of AIDS with ease. Treatment of AIDS with these only but partially effective, they can only prolong the life of the patient but cannot prevent the death, which is inevitable. That is antiretroviral drugs like zidovudin, azithromycin, redaxinosin, redaxycytidine, antiretroviral drugs, we can say collectively all of them. As AIDS has no cure, that is the best option. Prevention is the best option. HIV infection more often spreads due to conscious behavior pattern and is not something that happens inadvertently like pneumonia or typhoid. True or false? True. HIV infection may take place due to poor monitoring in these cases. Infection in blood transfusion patient and newborn, which from mother likewise. Major organizations who are doing a lot to educate people about AIDS in India, NACO and other NGOs. NACO expand, AIDS National AIDS Control Organization. NGOs expand, non-governmental organization. Non-governmental organization. NGOs means non-governmental organization. WHO, World Health Organization.